Hello, fellow gamers. Welcome back to another Smash Bros. Moveset tier list. Today, I am going to be doing Sephiroth. This is going to be the last main I'm going to be going over in the series. So, um, yeah, interesting character. He's got some big meaty attacks. You can probably tell already by the hitbox displayed here, and he's got some insane specials, which I have quite a bit to talk about later. But yeah. So this time I had to make this tier list because the other tier list I found don't have every move or the throws. Actually, they're only missing the throws, but I wanted to talk about his throws, so I decided to make my own. Um, but yeah. Anyways, I'm just gonna start right away and go over the tiers. So we got very situational moves that you're pretty much never gonna use unless you're in the banished state or if you're like at a very high percentage, whatever. Moves that you're pretty much never gonna use in neutral. Usable moves that have a role, a purpose in his kit, but doesn't do it doesn't do the best job at it, but it can still be useful. Average moves that are great for are great burst options, great combo starters and whatnot. Strong moves that will be your most likely your kill moves and your spacing tools or neutral tools, and then finally broken moves that have insane hitboxes and have a lot of use for them. So let's get started with jab. It's kind of an awkward jab because he attacks with like the handle of his sword or the hilt, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It just looks kind of silly, but anyways, it's average. I mean, I think it's his fastest attack. Yeah, he has a lot of very slow attacks, as you can already tell by the frame data. Very unsafe. I think his other fast attack. Um, yeah, that's like his fastest attack. Even there isn't really that quick. I mean, 9 frames. It's not bad compared to his other aerials, but you gotta take into consideration the jump squat frames and whatnot. But it's his fastest attack, so you could use it as a get off me tool. I think you can also set up for a tech situation in maybe early to mid percentages, but I think he's got another. Whoops, he's got another attack that's a little better at it, but I'll go over that in a bit. Next we got down tilt, or sorry, no, that. Hold on, forward tilt is next. Forward tilt is broken. It is his best. His best attack in neutral. His best tilt in neutral. It's basically like I forgot his name. Simon and Richter's F tilt. How it's very long, but this time you can actually angle it up or down, and the sweet spot is in the middle since it's like a slashing attack. Whereas Simon Richter's is more of a stab attack, so the sweet spot would be here. But in this case, the sweet spot is in the middle of his sword, so that's how his F tilt works. Except I think it's also a bit longer than Simon Richter's. I could be wrong. Maybe it's the same size, but still a very long attack, and you're going to be using that a lot in neutral and as a kill option and as a 2-frame option. Next, we got down tilt. It's a decent combo starter and a decent burst option. However, it is very laggy, so I wouldn't recommend spamming this, but um, you could use it as a combo tool since it does have like a lingering hitbox, but just do not use it on shield. It is terrible. Next, we got up tilt, and I'm gonna put it in the usable tier. It's a good attack, but the main problem is that it's very hard to use. So let's have a look at up tilt. So the hitbox looks really good. Like it is another long attack, but that's the thing. It only covers like one line above your head, and the starting hitbox or the rising hitbox is very small as well, and it's only active for a couple of frames, so it's gonna be a little hard to use it out of shield. It is probably his best out of shield. Not out of shield, but like after a parry, if they approach you up close, so you can parry and then use up tilt, and then it'll guarantee the sweet spot. You can also use it on Battlefield because it does hit at the very top platform and will always be a sweet spot. So it can be a great option for a kill move. It's a decent anti-air since he has intangibility on the upper body and arms, but the biggest problem is that it's very difficult to use. It also has a very bad sour spot, as you can tell by the coloring. So I would not recommend spamming this. It's also laggy. Moving on to his dash attack. Honestly, his dash attack is pretty strong, and it's also very good on Sephiroth because he has a couple ways to set your opponents up into a tech situation. So this can be very good as like even as like a ledge guard option if you time it right. I believe it can 2 frames since it's got a big hitbox. So yeah, well obviously you don't want to use it in neutral, but always use it when putting your opponents in a tumble. It is very good. It kills pretty early in the near the end of the stage. So yeah, moving on to his smash attacks. So one thing I want to mention is that Sephiroth does have his one wing mechanic or comeback mechanic, whatever you want to call it, where it activates. I honestly don't know how it activates, but I think you have to take a certain amount of damage at like a certain point in the game. So like if you're behind, I think you'll get it quicker or something. But if you're like too far ahead, you lose the one wing. I don't really know how it works, but wing advantages in brackets. Okay, so I guess this is like the frame data with the one wing, so it makes his attacks a little bit safer, and he does deal extra damage, and his smash attacks gain armor, which can be very useful. But it doesn't mean you still want to go around spamming them because it's still very committal. They're still very slow, but who cares? We all know that the real comeback mechanic for Sephiroth is using his 7th and 8th ult. If you don't use his shirtless skin, why are you playing this character? It becomes 10 times stronger if you use a shirtless skin, so use that skin. Anyways, moving on to his smash attacks, we got F Smash. I'm gonna put F Smash in usable. It's got a big hitbox, but it's also very committal, so I would not recommend using it in neutral. But it can be a great kill option. Down Smash is gonna go in the strong tier just because it is great on the ledge. It is a good kill option and even a great shield break option, which Sephiroth can also do. And up smash just has a big meaty hitbox, so I think you'll be using up smash more as an anti-air than up tilt. Just look at the size of the thing. Like, the thing is insane. Okay, moving on to his aerials, we got neutral air. It is his best aerial by far since it's the fastest. It's also got pretty good coverage. It's quick. It's safe on shield. Um, Nothing more to say about neutral air. Forward air. I'll put it in strong. It's a great kill option off stage. It's also good. It's also a great attack after a down throw um or after a nair. Um, yeah. Nothing more to say. It's got a sweet spot in the tip of the blade, so you can see there. You can also hit the stage to like do an extra jump, kind of like a tether recovery, I guess. But yeah, moving on to down air. Yeah, it's one of these like falling down airs. It's gonna go to the very situational tier. We all know why. But he also needs his attack because it is a reference to a certain part of the story that I'm not gonna spoil. But if you played Final Fantasy VII, you may know what I'm talking about. It was rather yeah. I'm just gonna leave it like that. So next we got back air. Another strong attack. I'm just gonna put it next to forward air. Um, since they're both interchangeable. It's also great after a back throw. So do keep that in mind if you go for a back throw at like early to mid percentage. I'll explain more on that later. Next we got up air. This thing has a big meaty hitbox. So I'm gonna put it in the broken tier. It is a great juggling tool and also a great kill option. Nothing more to say. Just look at the hitbox. Next we got the smash attack. So we got Flare, Mega Flare, and Giga Flare. Yeah, this is gonna go in the very situational tier just because it's laggy, it's slow, but it's still. Actually, I think I'm gonna move it to usable. It still has a couple other uses, so you can use it as like a B reverse to like shift your momentum. So it's good for mix-ups and whatnot. And then you can use it to bait out a shield or a jump. So then you can like quickly cancel into a I don't know, to any attack, whatever you want. So it's got a couple uses at least. So I'll put it in the usable tier, but it's very laggy. Do not use it in neutral, and do not use it when your opponent has reflector. It will not end well for you. Next we got Shadow Flare. Where should I put this? I think I'm gonna put it at the bottom of strong. It's a great move in neutral, but the problem is, as the meta develops, opponents have found a way to, I guess, counter Shadow Flare. So you can time the block whenever the attack goes up. You have to like count how many times, or like if you count how many times the orbs circle around you. If it does like a certain amount, it'll blow up after that amount. I'm not sure how to explain, but you can look up. If you look up Sephiroth guides or how to beat Sephiroth on YouTube Shorts, you should be able to find a guide on how to counter Shadow Flare. And if you're like a skilled opponent, or why am I saying opponent? If you're a skilled player, you can probably parry the all the hits. So it's possible. And I've seen it in like compilations and stuff. It's kind of crazy, but um, it's still a good move. So I'm not gonna knock it down. Um, anyways, next we got Scintilla, which is his down B or his counter. Of course, every sword fighter's gotta have a counter, but whatever. Anyways, I'll put it in the average tier. It's honestly a little inconsistent, but it works fine as a counter. It also does like a little attack if you miss, but it's still pretty unsafe. So I wouldn't recommend going around spamming this, since you will become predictable, just like any other counter. Next we got Blade Dash or Octo Slash. If you charge it longer, it is my favorite up B, and I love this attack. So I'm gonna put it at the very top of Broken, simply because it does so much. It's a recovery move, obviously, but it's also a great burst option, a great ledge guard option, great kill option, two frame option. It does everything. I also love watching clips of Sephiroth going off stage with up B. It is very satisfying to watch, and I could never do that because I have no balls, but oh well. next we got his throw. So forward throw, I actually really like forward throw just because it almost always sets up into a tech situation. And like as I've been saying throughout this video, Sephiroth is very good at doing that. So that's why I highly rated the dash attack, because that attack is very good after an F throw. Or you can do side B after a forward throw. It's us. I might even put it into strong tier. I kind of want to do that. I'm gonna do it. I think this is the very first time I ever actually no, it's not. Kirby's forward throw was also pretty high up, if I remember. I don't know if I put it in average or strong, but I'm gonna put it in strong. It's pretty good in almost any part of the game, mid to maybe even high percentages. But yeah, moving on to down throw. That is going to be his main combo throw, so we're going to put it in average. Back throw, it's kind of niche, so I'll put it in usable. But like I mentioned earlier, you can use back throw after a down or not back throw and then back air. That's what I meant to say. At around early to mid percentages. Well, not really mid, because at that point it'll send your opponent too high up, so you can't really follow up well. But it's still a good throw. And up throw is just awful. It is so bad. I don't know why it's this bad. I mean, it's oh, I mean the time you should use up throw is at very late percentages when your opponents get sent in a very very bad position in the air. So that's when I'd use up throw. But even at like early percentages, I use an up throw and I still couldn't get any true follow ups. You might be able to get a true follow up and like on fast followers or bigger or opponents with bigger hurt boxes. I don't know. It's still terrible. You may as well just use down throw since it's more consistent. So, or forward throw. Any other throw is better than up throw, if I'm being honest. So, um, do I need to move anything around? Maybe I could move up till down here. Because I don't really use up till that much unless I parry or I'm playing on Battlefield. I think I'm gonna move it down, and then I'll keep that there. Um, maybe I can move down more. I'll move it like I'll leave it there. I guess that's a good spot. All right. I think that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tier list, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.